What's going on, y'all? So, yep, you guys know what this is. This is about exclusives and somebody thinking that Sony is gonna backtrack and remove all their games from PC thinks that there's a chance of that, and it's impossible for it to be day and date. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, and then we're gonna, as you know, react along the way. We see who's all up in here. This one isn't about a highlight on Nib, but more about this guy Blaze 4K, who I just had to laugh at. So let's get ready for this. Let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all, let's go.
Do you think, Blaze, we are going to see Sony kind of step back from the PC? Me and Detzinger were going back and forth on a good conversation earlier about this. Will they step back from the PC a little bit or slow it down? Because they're not making a ton of money on that, and they've already said they don't really want to go day and date, especially with single-player games.
These guys don't really listen to a lot of stuff, do they? Because the funny thing that I find about this is that they don't realize the current business model, definitely with the new people being in the position that they are in the industry. Like, to think that they would go back on PC is literally just dumb. Definitely when you see they're now even looking at the Switch 2, they need money. It's not about a significant amount, it's about a constant stream of income for easy remasters, like Shuhei Yoshida said. Sean later said games are too expensive anymore. I mean, these signs have been in front of people.
So why would they pull GT7 still selling like crazy on the console?
I don't know about selling like crazy, but Force is about to come and take that over.
So why wouldn't they stop the port on that and they stop the port on another game? I can't remember.
That was a rumor, by the way. He's talking about Demon Souls and GT7 ports being removed from PC. We don't know if it ever really truly happened. But it would just be dumb because the most obvious port that they could have done would be Demon Souls, but they're talking about GT7. It's like the game's kind of boring anyway. Force is way better, and there's a lot of racers in general, so it's not like PC needs Gran Turismo. If I was a PC gamer, I would choose Demon Souls over that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way.
Which one it was.
Demon Souls, I think
Demon
it was.
Souls.
Yeah. Listen, you would think out of every game PlayStation's ever ported to PC, you'd think Gran Turismo would be number one on the list. There's so many Sims and all these car games always do well. I said this on Solidcast 3 weeks ago. People call me crazy. I think Sony's about to pull a Michael Jackson, dude. I'm telling you. And they're gonna moonwalk all this shit back, bro. Listen,
yeah,
whatever's on there is on there. But going forward, look, look, man, call me crazy, Mooch, but I feel like something changed, and I do feel like there's a chance that this shit could go left. Listen, people act like it can't happen. Xbox had games on PC years back, and then they removed it. So why you act?
Guys, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but this guy's lost. He doesn't get it. He seriously is believing that. Like, this is copium at its highest, or hopium, if that's what you want to call it. You know, here's another thing. Instead of realizing that it would be more plausible to say that they will be going day and date compared to removing everything off the database, there's no way they're going to do that. No, they're going to continue to target PC, and they're going to target the Switch 2 for older games to get easy profit on stuff that's just sitting there. I would say that would be the more or intelligent, plausible outcome. Or just continue doing what they're doing and give PC, some of their games a little bit later, if anything. But there's no way they're going to stop that. Unbelievable projection by this guy. But this is why we like this, because, hey, you need an opposition, and we got some content, and we got a lot of other people viewing this.
Acting like it can't happen to PlayStation. Yeah. Xbox had Gears of War, Halo on PC, and then they stopped doing it. So it's like it's not like something that's never been done before.
Right.
So I feel like it can happen, and I think I'm a traditional guy, Mooch. I think it's beneficial for the consumer. For me, owning a PlayStation.
No, like this just reminds me of somebody that is still stuck in like a PS3 era. It's always the people that they're too stuck on the way they think things should be. Instead of realizing this is what is best for business and for everyone moving forward. See, my problem with the pro consumer mentality is that they're not realizing that I could understand what you mean if you want to design a game exclusively for a console and then everything does well and then you branch it out everywhere else. Why somebody would think that would be better as far as like quality. I can understand it's easier to just focus on one system and optimize for it, but there's nothing wrong with branching out later on. There's nothing wrong with some games being day and date. Like Sony knows that all live service games, if they can get another successful one up and going, it has to be day and date on PC. And they're not going to stop that. They wouldn't like stop that going forth. And we know they're going to have more live service games. They have to find a successful one. That's just the way that type of stuff works. But this pro consumer stuff, thinking that because it's exclusive, it's more pro consumer to you, is not the reason why exclusives happen. It's to benefit the corporation over the consumer. But they don't get that because it's more like trying to say that my system's more appealing and I want to sell it more. If they could still play that game and sell like Nintendo, both of them, oh yeah, it would still be that way. You see? Because what he calls pro consumer, somebody else that wants to play that game on another console, let's say if it's not even first party, would consider that not pro consumer because you're locking games away from us to benefit people only in that ecosystem. That's why it's a double edged sword. Like, no matter what, when you talk about that. But I can't say because somebody wants to optimize a game for all consoles and it ends up working and it doesn't flop, that that wouldn't be pro consumer, it'd be pro consumer as an exclusive. Like, they think like that. It's like, that just means that they didn't finish optimizing the game and they got rushed out, going everywhere else. Or they're just not used to other platforms, like we saw with the Black Myth Wukong developers. They didn't want to do the Xbox version because they had trouble already with the PS5 version. They're not used to optimizing on consoles. Somebody would say, "Oh yeah, so because that was an exclusive that made the game better." Actually, no, the game wasn't optimized to begin with. It has nothing to do with pro consumer. Pro consumer would actually be like, "I want to optimize the game for all of you to make sure you have a great experience because I'm making sure I don't rush it out just to get some quick money." You see what I'm saying? It just depends on how you look at it.
PlayStation 5, because I say this all the time. If you give me a reason not to own a PlayStation, I'm not gonna fucking own it, Mooch.
Right.
I'm not.
Same.
And that's see, they're these are the same people that be pissed off at Microsoft right now. That's why they don't have the Xbox and they don't want the PlayStation to feel the same way. And you kind of see this fear and insecurity going on everywhere. That no, Sony's not third party like Microsoft. Like in their mind, they think that that's somehow just it's a terrible thing, and I'm just gonna go on PC then. Well, hey, there is nothing wrong with that, and having a PC and a Nintendo. I mean, that's a thing right now for sure. That's gonna be a thing with the Switch too. And then there's people like myself that just like to support consoles in general. I will always own and support all. If I can do it, why not? Because that to me is just supporting gaming in general. But this whole pro consumer stuff is ridiculous. Like certain people say, 'cause I just find it funny.
I feel the exact same way.
So,
You know?
Say,
so Blaze,
I was
no
gonna say,
day
Blaze,
and date.
the-
That ain't coming. No
Listen,
day and date.
day and day is not coming.
Mm.
Clip it. Clip it.
Okay.
the
Yeah,
only thing I would
it's right
say
here.
to that, Blaze, to challenge.
He's clipped right here. Yeah, we got it right here. So he's making an extreme statement by saying that. I'm not going to say it is or it isn't. Who knows? What I do know is that it's going to get closer to PC, and it is closer to PC. Like the release is more than ever, and we could see that recently. So, yeah, I think saying that is a little bit more ignorant than saying that they will just back out and pull everything off of PC. It's like, no, bro. It would be a closer guess to say it would be more day and date. And you have other pages like definitely Alex's that highly believe that it's going to be day and date one day. And I would say that'd be a lot more plausible than somebody like him thinking that Sony may moonwalk and remove all the games. It's like, what are you talking about? No.
Is from the leaks, we kind of know how much some of these PC ports cost, and they're still profitable. So, like
Yeah.
me, from like a business perspective, if I'm making money on something, why do I need to stop doing it? And remember, like most of the porting isn't done in house anyway. Most of it is done by Nixis.
Right.
They literally purchased a PC port studio. So it's like as long as they're doing it and we're making additional revenue, there isn't really much of a need to stop doing it as well. Again, you could be right. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying financially, if you're going to make an extra 20, 50, 100 million, you might as well, right? That's still money on the table.
Absolutely. No, and it is money. I mean, other than listen, I know live service might be the the only thing that maybe they continue putting out there because they want player numbers and stuff like that. And look, I could be totally wrong, right? But I just don't understand when Demon Souls first got announced, had the PC thing, then they removed it. It's just like games like Demon Souls, again, it makes so much sense. Souls games are exploding. I just don't understand. There's a whole demographic out there that hasn't played Demon Souls. Like it makes too much. Like, why is that game not ported? It's just really odd to me.
That's true.
And
That's a good point.
you know what I mean? Like, you know.
But we don't know if that really happened, and that was icon error and some other stuff. But possibility. But yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't put that game on PC. Unless you're waiting for the Switch 2 version too, so you can launch both at the same time. Because that would be a smart thing to do. Because you could scale that down. Any engine can be scaled, so yeah, I don't know about that, but I think that would be a wise thing to gain some favor of PC players to put something like that on PC. Like that to me seems pretty damn good.
You know, Erica, you know how big these games are. Like these Souls games are exploding. People love From Software.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell is that game not on Steam? It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's wild. I mean, it goes with the same question of where the freak is Bloodborne? You just don't know like what's going on over there. But no, I think you're right. If the PS5 was selling behind PS4 and not doing well, I'd probably have a different tone about this. But because the PS5 is doing so well, I could see you being correct on this, Blaze. Like they could run it back to where they're like, you know what?
No, that's not happening. It absolutely is stupid to just lose easy money. They're more business oriented than they've ever been with all the new leaders. Same thing in the Microsoft realm. It's like saying that Microsoft's going to pull back and say, no, there's absolutely no way they're going to do this. Easy money is not going to be passed up now when you need it more than ever, and you canceled all those games. How are y'all not seeing this? It doesn't make any sense. No, it's not happening. It literally doesn't make any sense for that to happen on any spectrum. The only one that can do this game is Nintendo. That's it. This is just realization. Y'all got to wake up out of that, man. This is not something you should be worrying about. What you should, though I know for some people that would be a remedy as a fanboy, what you should be worried about is day and date.
We're just going to keep these games coming out late, like a year later, 2 years later. They could keep doing that and still be fine. You know, like they don't need to be day and date.
Who said they were they're still making a killing too. They might listen. Yeah. As PlayStation guys, we're looking at these numbers like, what the hell? Horizon only sold X amount of, but
you see the Switch 2 numbers, like the Switch 1 numbers again. Oh, y'all are in for a rude awakening for people who only want to be PlayStation only. You have no idea what's about to happen.
It's still all profit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's a slippery slope. We always talk about that. Mooch, you know, we always talk about it. But at the end of the day, I just feel like, just look at Nintendo. They're not backing down. They're making their console. Like, you want to play Switch games, unless you want to play them illegally, you're going to have to buy a Switch. And I say this all the time. I know people want, like, oh no, it's Alex. They want to change their tone. But 6-7 years ago, Alex, on Weapon Wheel, you said console, exclusives matter. And I still think they matter. Yeah. They matter.
It depends on who you are. Like, if you look at Nintendo, I mean, they got the whole world, you know what I mean? So, of course, console exclusives matter, if you want to talk about it in that sense. But the game that Sony and Microsoft is playing, it's like, that's a different aspect. So, it just depends. Like, I can't really say that he's wrong for saying it in those times. Like, when you think about the way things are changing now, nobody would have said that this would be happening. You know what I mean? So my take on that is just understand the way that the industry is every year, how it works. Not the way you want it, and because it's going to ignore you. It's not going to go back. But just more like, what do you mean when you say console exclusives matter? Because I can't say that for Microsoft. Not the way their brand is. For Sony, to an extent, but whoever bought a PlayStation for an exclusive? Sony was never bought for in-house. That was mainly only Nintendo and Sega when they could do it. Like, this is the thing that people don't understand. I'm not saying that with Sony getting more exclusives, first party is necessarily bad. I believe that if you want to have a future, you need that. Microsoft is just playing the game they're playing now because hardware is still the way that it is. But in the future, they're already set to be a good content creator, publisher, which is the future when you don't have hardware, and way down the line. Nintendo's always been set. So Sony needs first party in house, even if they are going to branch it out or not. But in the future, when somebody's looking at your service, this is what you're going to be able to provide. Hardware isn't going to be there forever. It's not going to sell high forever. So that's the thing about PlayStation. And I've told people this before. It's just something to realize. This is how things work. See, my video is about how things work, the truth of it, obviously entertainment, all that type of stuff. And then, I can say, because I love Nintendo, I want this to happen. But at the end of the day, what's more important is about the way things work and what is the reality. You know what I mean? And what's best for the gaming industry. That's what I care about more than anything, regardless of who I like or who I want to choose or whatever. I think what's best for the gaming industry is pretty much exactly what's kind of happening in a way for Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. I think Sony needed a lot of these fallouts so that they can realize a lot of their mistakes. Microsoft needed to have what happened to them for them to be at their best, and Nintendo is doing what they're doing. We know the Wii U needed to happen, so we can't expect mistakes not to happen. But one thing I know for sure is Sony is not backing away from PC. Now, I'd be thinking about that percentage being gained more than them going all the way back to zero with it. It's just absolutely stupid. So this is kind of what I wanted to cover here. Let me know what y'all think about that. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day.